how much do you interact, or how much do you think about sort of the state of modern masculinity at the moment and the challenges that young men are facing?
I've recently started to think about it a lot more. I think it's been surfacing more, and it's a weird like balance, because people like Andrew Tate are saying like we need more masculinity, we need more aggression, we need like X, Y, and Z, and I think I agree with that on one level for like a little bit. But there's also a section of men who just feel alone, like myself, who felt like they have to hold things in, and that they shouldn't share their emotions, that they don't lean on people, and that they should just carry stuff in, and they need to be X, Y, and Z to be like good enough. So there's this like balance of that. And you almost need to learn to, again, like I mentioned, like that, the masculine and the feminine, being able to integrate that. I feel like a real man is confident and comfortable enough to embrace the feminine energy he has in him. If he's emotional, let it out, but also have that masculine side of it. Be like, I'm going to be emotional right now, but I'm still going to go and fuck shit up right now. You know, I'm still going to take charge of what I want with my life. I'm going to work fucking hard and be disciplined, but I'm going to accept that sometimes I'm going to break down, and it's going to be, I'm not saying that women break down, but there's more emotion over there, and allow it to feel it and to ask for help and to lean on people, and being able to balance those two and that like yin and yang. I think that's what's missing personally. And I do, like, on one level, I do feel a sense of responsibility, because the fitness is a big world of men who are, I think, usually get into fitness on some level, maybe feeling lost, and they can feel a little bit safe. And I heard a lot of people be like, I can go in the gym and just forget about everything. I'm like, that's great. The gym's an amazing tool for that. But you still need to go back and feel that shit eventually, because it's not going away. A good workout doesn't make the stress at home better now. It's still just buried under that fucking dopamine rush and sick pump you got in your chest, you know? It's still there. So I think just learning to navigate and balance that is super important. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm someone right now where people look up to. On one level, there's a responsibility for me. Let's take my 12-year-old self, who felt like he had to hold it all together. He couldn't lean on anyone. He couldn't ask for help. And I just remember this time I was in the hospital a few years ago, and I didn't tell my parents. I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want them to be stressed and anxious. And then they found out, and I was like, it's okay, like, don't come. I'm totally fine. Like, they were out of town, or we live in different cities, and I'm like, don't even bother coming. I'll be out of here in no time. It's okay. And I thought about that, and I broke down crying again. And I was like, why didn't I ask for help? I felt so scared and alone. And just to have my mom sitting beside me, I'm a man, I'm 20 years old at the time, it would have felt better. But why am I so scared to ask for help? You know, like,
why do you think you are scared to ask for help?
Part of my childhood of just feeling like, I saw my dad, who didn't really need help. My mom was busy. They were both super busy with work, and they gave me everything that they could, but they came from families who didn't know how to show them kind of love and support. And they came from, so there's all these generations of this pain who don't know how to express themselves. And then I think, honestly, my parents jumped about 10 generations worth of progress of who they are and how they showed me love and vulnerability as much as they could, but there's still stuff missing. And now I would like to jump a few generations as well and hopefully help my kids. But there's always a gap of with a kid where we're going to miss something. And I think a lot of that does come from my childhood. And then so when I get in situations like that, and I was afraid to ask for help. And now I look back and I'm just like, if I had just started crying and been like, I need you, Mom, like I would have felt so much better.
Yep.
But I had to be like, no, I'm okay. Don't even come. I'm good. I'm going to sit in this hospital by myself and stare at the wall and just try not to think about dying, you know? Like, that's fucking insane. I don't know why I did that.
Well, what would you say? Okay, so, you know, there's a lot of guys listening who say that resonates with me. I feel like I struggle to open up. Like, I find it hard to embrace the fears and the insecurities and stuff that I have. What have you found as a good first step, or as the first steps that's good for those guys to take to move forward?
It's definitely tough, and it's depending on the situation in your life. And this is kind of where I was getting at, is like, hopefully myself, if I think of who I would have wanted to be as a role model to that 12-year-old boy, that's who I should be in this world to anyone who is looking up to me now. So I hope that some people like me who express this stuff can at least give permission for people to start that journey. So if I have that impact on anyone, and I've had people come up to me and like at Q&As and shit, they're like, I wanted to ask you this, but like I'm fucking going, like, tell me some crazy story where I'm about to cry listening to them, and they're coming to share it with me. And I'm like, fuck, man, like that's deep. You need people to lean on. And they're like, I don't know what to do. So my advice to those people would be to understand that hopefully you have someone in your life who loves you. And if they love you, they want to help you. They might not know how to ask you because they weren't given that help. So sometimes you have to put yourself out there and be like, and just open yourself up to them and allow them to see deep inside you. Because not everyone can read your mind and like dive deep into your skull just because of your like you have a different look on your face today or
Yes,
something. You know?
yes.
So if you have people you love, lean into them. And if you really don't feel safe with anyone in your life, that's scary. And I feel horrible for anyone who feels that alone, but find a therapist or something. I did have people I could lean on and loved in my life, but I went to a therapist before even them. And back in 2020, when I told you that thing I can't talk about, that was really hard on me, I buried all that, and then I went to a therapist and started talking to them. And I thought I'd never be able to open up to someone, some stranger, I don't know. First session, fucking crying on this couch. And I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of stuff inside me right now. And so much of my journey for the last 5 years have been understanding how much stuff I've suppressed and didn't know what was there and allow it to come up. And the amount of how light my heart feels and how light my body feels when I kind of get some of that out, it just helped me so much.
You can really tell that you feel more sort of aligned with it.
I just feel good with myself overall. And I know, like I said earlier, I got emotional just thinking about the people I've had in my life. And now with Courtney, the amount our relationship has built over this span of time of me being able to bring myself out more and share with her, we were engaged, and now I'm like, I don't fucking even know what a ring is, but I'm going to fucking die with this girl by my side because nothing's going to tear us apart. Because we've built that connection through that trust.
Remembering what you said about don't necessarily expect people to be able to pick up on the fact that your face looks a bit different today.
Yeah.
She had to ask you 4 times
in
the bathroom?
Yeah, and I was lucky as hell that she's such a empath type of human. She's super emotional, and she was able to see me. But if not, who knows if I would have shared that with her.
Yeah, either empath or unrelenting, perhaps.
Bit of both.
They're going to keep on asking and keep on asking and keep on poking. Yeah, I really do think that this tension, we talked about this sort of tension between a desire for success and a feeling of being enough, between wanting to be strong and competent and also being able to integrate the emotions that you have. It is so individual. And the point is that trying to take any one philosophy from someone and saying, I am going to take the Andrew Tate, or I'm going to take the Chris Bumstead, or I'm going to take the Chris Williamson approach to this sort of a thing, fundamentally doesn't work because the drivers that you have are completely different.
Yeah.
And I think that the only thing which really does scale is, okay, try and find out what's true in you. Try and find out how you actually feel about these things. I have a friend who's staying in Austin at the moment, a guy called George, and when anybody asks him about his childhood, and everyone's supposed to have got shit from their childhood, he has nothing. Yeah. He has absolutely nothing. My childhood was fantastic. Did you ever get bullied? No, I had loads of good friends, and I have no baggage, I have no trauma, I have no nothing. So for him, the solution is completely different.
Yeah.
The solution is completely different to the one that it is for maybe me or you. And yeah, I think.
And there's still a potential that he's looking back with rose-colored glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And that he just kind of pushed a few small things aside. And now some stuff might make him feel triggered or insecure or embarrassed. And he just it's normal, just kind of push it over and move on. But he doesn't even see it. I'm not saying that's true.
It might be.
But it's possible.
If he breaks down crying this week in the...
Just go home and poke him and be like, are you good? Are you good?
Yeah,
Are you good?
5 times.
Yeah.
I'd say 5 times.
I do think, though, breaking that stigma that both can coexist in a alpha male. Too, for men, you can be this fucking killer who cries, you can. And I mean, I'm not a deep religious person, but you look at someone like Jesus Christ. The night before he got crucified, the Bible says he was weeping. He was scared. When he was carrying the cross, he was stumbling, he was falling. He had to have people help him. This is the epitome of the archetypal, human, and he struggled. He cried, he was scared, and he was sacrificed for everyone. That's a story that's old as time that was equally showing that. But you don't think Jesus was a fucking badass motherfucker? I think he probably was, So I think there's an ability to intertwine that. And sometimes people come out of the woodworks like Andrew Tate, who are just so far one way.
Yep.
This is being a man. And then there's people who are too far the other way, who are you need to be sensitive and cry, and who cares about winning and all this shit. And it's no, I want to be the best version of myself, and that's my biggest goal. But underneath that, I want to fucking win. I want to fucking embarrass everybody on stage. But when I don't, I'm not any less of a man. Yep. I'm still just as I still value myself. I'm just as worthy of a human being. But that's just, I still want to fucking fuck shit up over there, Yeah. So being able to intertwine that and just believe that they can coexist, I think is something just super important to set off on that journey.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by a product I have used every single day for over 3 years now, and that is AG1. It's a foundational nutrition supplement that covers whole body health, helps with my digestion, it helps with my energy. It is the staple to my supplement regime, and it's the same for Dr. Andrew Huberman, Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Tim Ferriss. All of them have been using it for a very long time, and that's because They invest in the highest quality ingredients, and they've upgraded the recipe 52 times over the last decade as new research has come in. Also, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it and try it for 89 days, and if you do not like it, they will give you your money back. If you're looking for a simpler, effective investment for your health, try AG1. Get 5 free AG1 travel packs, plus a year's supply of vitamin D and that 90-day money-back guarantee by going to drinkag1.com/wisdom. That's drinkag1.com/wisdom.